Hello, welcome to another episode of Technically Analytics. I'm back, and today we're going to talk about a trade that occurred a few weeks ago. Luis Arraez went to the Padres from the Marlins, but first we're going to talk about Luis Arraez. He's a utility infielder, bats left, throws right. He's been in the league for about 4 or 5 years, and he's a really good hitter, as we're going to see, but he was recently traded, and you can see all his batting titles, All-Star, Silver Sluggers. So yeah, he's pretty accomplished. So the trade was between the Marlins and Padres for a minor leaguer named Dylan Head. Usa Go, who was on the Padres. I had a video on him on my channel. He's from the Korean League. Jacob Marcy and Nathaniel Mortarella. So basically a minor league package for Arraez, and this isn't his first time being traded. He was traded last year from Minnesota to the Marlins, or last offseason. So yeah, it's not his first trade. But let's look into Arraez's stats, his career stats. So like I said, he's been in the league for a bit, and he had a Rookie of the Year, finishing 6th in his first season. But then after that, he had a few quiet years, but then he really started taking off. And as you can see, you're going to want to pay attention to his hits, first of all, and his batting average and on-base percentage. Those are what Arraez is good at, all right? He's a contact, non-strikeout kind of hitter. He doesn't really hit a lot of home runs. He can hit home runs, but he doesn't hit a lot of home runs. Not known for his home run ball, but he's known to get on base and get hits consistently, and he doesn't really strike out. Like, his career strikeouts for a 5 or 6 year career is only 177 strikeouts, and that's in 2,356 plate appearances and 2,144 at bats. I mean, that's insane. That's a pretty good career ratio. And of course, these career ratios are what makes him great and why people like this guy so much. This is why I think it's a great trade for the Padres. They're going to put him at the top of the lineup. He's already been doing some hitting with the Padres in the top of the lineup. He's a great leadoff guy. He's gonna give you above 300 batting average and close to 400 on base, which is like amazing for a leadoff. You want that in your leadoff. He also has some MVP finishes. But he's never won MVP. Obviously, home runs are more flashy, and these bat to ball guys are a little more utility and a little more under the radar. So people will always compare Arraez to the greats of the game that especially San Diego kind of brings to mind, like guys like Tony Gwynn, who they put up crazy numbers. Like, they put up 400 on base years like consecutively. They have 3,000 hits, and I don't think Arraez is on that level quite yet. Like, people will compare him to that, but he's not on that level. He's not that guy yet. He needs to play a lot longer and be a lot more productive. But I think Tony Gwynn's kind of a high standard, and that's who you kind of think of as a prototypical bat to ball, hit singles and stuff and get on base guy. And then you also have guys like Wade Boggs, who's another guy that does that. His career on base is 415 career on base. So yeah, like, Wade Boggs, one of the all-time greats at hitting. You could see why. 5 batting titles. He has a World Series ring, 8 Silver Sluggers, and Arraez is on that path, but he needs to play for a lot longer and have a lot more success in his career. And there's guys like Bill Madlock, who's a little more achievable, I think, for Arraez to mimic as a great, like 365 on base. He didn't hit crazy home runs. He's kind of on the same career path as Bill Madlock. He was an infielder, a contact hitter. So 4 batting titles. Arraez already has 2 or 3. He has 2 batting titles. So yeah, he's on the path. He's on the path for a Bill Madlock type career. I could see it. So let's dive a little deeper into what Arraez does well. Like I said, he's an on-base guy. He's a batting average guy, not really a slugging guy. So his EV and his hard hit and all that's not going to be very good. We'll go into that a little bit later, but you can see the red squares are where he excels. Batting average, on base, K percentage. Like, he's the lowest K percentage in the league. He doesn't strike out too much. Walks are usually quite high, although in the recent years he's been struggling a little bit, not walking as much, which is could be a sign of aging or maybe just a different approach. And then whiff percentage, he doesn't whiff a lot. His chase rate is not. It's been worse in the past few years, but he used to be really elite at it. His speed, he's not really known as a speed guy, and he's an average fielder, let's say, not maybe even below average. But he has utility. He can move around the infield. He can play multiple positions, which is always nice. And like I mentioned, the bat speed. So Baseball Savant recently released a new metric called bat speed, and it basically is a big chart of every hitter in the MLB, and they basically graph their bat speed, their swing rate, their swing percentage, contact percentage, the type of swing, the competitive swings, how many swings, all this stuff. So an interesting development is that actually Luis Arraez has the least bat speed of any MLB player in the league. So yeah, he's the lowest one, 62.5. He doesn't swing fast. He doesn't swing hard. He just swings accurately and gets hits, and that's all that matters. Like, if you look at his other contact and all that, it's pretty high actually. And there's similar batters to him that are just like him, but he's the best at it, and it's clear why he's the best at it, because he's the one that does it the best. He gets on base the most. He wins batting titles by having such a high average, not striking out. Because when you swing hard, you're obviously, it kind of like, I don't know if you ever played baseball, you know the feeling. When you swing it harder, you kind of tend to lose track of the ball. You can't track it as well because you're really trying to gear up your swing. You're trying to move your arms through as fast as you can. And it can take away from, keeping your eye on the ball and maybe hitting it more square than you would if you just took your time. So, it's a trade-off that you can make, and Arraez has decided to go the other way, like unlike most guys where they swing as hard as they can. He's gone the opposite way and decided, you know what, I'm going to swing smart instead of hard. How about that? So, looking at what he does, especially for the past 2 years, we have one full season in 2023, and then we have part of 2024 where you could see he's already on his usual tricks. His on base his batting average is still pretty high, most high against fastballs, and this kind of tracks out that he's gonna be pretty evenly matching every single category pitch against fastballs, breaking, off speed. It doesn't matter what you throw him, he's gonna find a way to hit the ball and get on base and not strike out. His whiff rate's pretty low, put away rate very low. So that you can't get this guy out. I mean, you can, but it's very tough because he's just gonna hit it into a hole and you're not gonna be able to field it, or he's not gonna make a stupid swing. He's always gonna, pick his swing smartly. And then, so moving into that plate discipline, obviously to be a contact hitter like he is, and to get on base and to get hits like he does and get batting titles, he has to be smart and he has to have plate discipline. And so he is some of the best plate discipline in the league. So he's above average zone percent, or just below average, just below the average zone swing percent. Zone contact, he's way above. He makes contact in the zone the most of almost anybody in the league. His chase rate's a bit lower, chase contact a bit higher because, again, he swings slower, so he doesn't swing as hard and he doesn't miss as much. His edge about the same, first per swing. Now this one is one I noticed too, that he doesn't swing on first pitch a lot, which a lot of guys just jump the first pitch. Guys like who come to mind, like Ronald Acuna Jr., like he does that a lot. He likes to just ambush the first pitch. But Arraez is more patient. He works the pitcher, works the count, which is smart in a way. But swinging first pitch can have its advantages and disadvantages, but he likes to take his time. Swing percent, he's a bit lower because obviously he's watching for if it's a ball or strike carefully and to see if he can swing or if it's worth the swing. And whiff rate's obviously a bit lower because, again, he chooses pitches carefully. Meatball, average, and about average. So yeah, that's a Luis Arraez. I think he's going to be a great addition for the Padres. And I think he can eventually get to that tier player in the Hall of Fame, like Bill Madoff or Tony Gwynn. But I don't think he's there quite yet. I think he needs a few more years, more production, more 400 on-base seasons, and then he can get there. And then he can be one of those elite hitters that just gets hits and doesn't strike out. So yeah, That's going to wrap up this episode of Technically Analytics. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.